people are laying a lot of blame on a word. And at the end of the day, yeah, things may be slow, but what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? Are you going to be proactive? Are you going to just take the loss, take it on the chin and say, you know what? I'm out. I can't do this. That's not how I operate. I know that's not how Justin operates. And if you're watching this, if you care enough to educate yourself and maybe learn a little bit more, then that's not you either. So we wanted to talk about some of the things that you can do that will help your business grow, to help those leads coming in. I was thinking about it yesterday. I was driving somewhere. I was thinking I hear so many people complain about being slow and not having jobs. And I think to myself, okay, so what are you doing? Are you just sitting there complaining about it? Or are you going to do something about it? If you're in the pressure washing world or any kind of service-based business, home service-based business, you can get off your ass, you can leave your house, and you can generate business, right? You can go knock on doors if you so choose. That's a tough thing, right? That's a tough sell, and not a lot of people really dig doing that. But there are tons of people that I know and I've talked to that make a ton of money just by doing that every single day. Like I said, it's tough, but it's something that people do, and it's a proven method to generate income for your business. Justin, talk about some of the things that you think are ways to,
Yeah, I think we've seen a swing in everything, and basically everything was going so good for so long, right? And it was getting to the point where it was just so easy to land jobs because there was jobs everywhere because everybody had money, and it was just everyone was spending. So there was no need to really diversify your marketing. There was no need to try new things with marketing. There was no need to go door to door because the jobs are just so readily available. You could probably make a post in a group and get a couple jobs off of it. But now there's been a swing to where the guys that don't know how to market, or maybe they were using older forms of marketing, or maybe they really weren't, doing that much. The jobs aren't coming as easy, starting to slow down. So you really need to lean on things like Mike is saying to diversify your lead flow. As many things as you can get, as many places as you can get your hands into, like Nextdoor. A lot of people don't utilize Nextdoor. Free groups on Facebook, right? Like flyers. You can do some of those sweat equity type things. You could go put out yard signs. You really need to build a foundation or a schedule around how you're doing your marketing. You need to get disciplined with it, and you need to have some sort of structure with it. Develop a plan. I think a lot of times we just kind of go on a whim. We market how we feel. But if you can really put together a solid plan and try to execute in as many different areas as possible, you can get the most out of it, right? But instead, guys just kind of go willy-nilly. But you can't really take a business willy-nilly, right, Mike?
No, you're absolutely right. And then the other thing that you have to do is not only put in the sweat equity and put in the work and definitely diversify how you're, trying to attract customers, but track your data. You need to know what works, because if you are doing, you take the shotgun approach and you do postcards, you do flyers, you do yard signs, you do email marketing, text marketing. What if your yard signs aren't performing? What if your postcards, your ROI on your postcards is like next to nothing? Are you going to continue to focus your time, your energy, and your dollars on something that doesn't work? No, you're going to keep track of your data, and you're going to figure out where your dollars and your time is best spent. And that's where the focus needs to be.
The other thing I think too is guys cheap out on like some of this print marketing, and they with flyers, especially with guys starting out, right? They think that they can just print their own flyers and they can pass them out. People can tell very quickly who is a professional business, who is a business that is established, and who is not. And especially if you're printing your own flyers that you're making on Word, you're just not going to win, especially not with a guy like Mike. When Mike is doing mailers and they look super pro and they're built out a certain way, like there's a certain recipe, or there's a certain method to the madness with regards to how you need to put together your print marketing. But don't cheap out. Don't use clip art either.
Those are great points. I've seen a couple little questions pop up talking about pressure washing is something that people might skip, and this again goes back to having an ideal customer, right? Like, yes, times are tough for a lot of people, but times are not tough for a lot of people as well, right? Just because there's inflation, just because there's recession, just because there's a talk of a recession, there are things out there that a lot of people will shy away from unless you're targeting the right people, unless you're targeting the people that are not as impacted by the big, economic picture, right? And those are the people that I target. Those are the people that aren't going to skip the maintenance of their property. They're not going to skip, dry cleaning their clothes. They're not going to skip going out to dinner. They're not going to skip going out on the boat. They're not going to skip their round of golf. They've got money and they're going to continue to spend it. And that's why all year long, you need to focus on a good customer base, your ideal customer base, the customers that are going to pay a premium because they see the value in what you offer. And then B, they've got the disposable income, and it's not that big of a ticket.
On the other end of that, like, we look at pressure washing and guys think like all they can offer is pressure washing. All they can market for is pressure washing. Find a niche service that is lower ticket to get your foot in the door with customers that you otherwise wouldn't have, right? Try to offer gutter cleaning, gutter brightening, offer can cleaning, there's like a bunch of little services that are low ticket that can just get you in front of the door at a customer's house where you can go, hey, I noticed that, this walkway is dirty, or, the back porch looks dirty. Whatever you have to do, get your foot in the door, get in front of them, build trust with the customer. And that way you can upsell and make more money.
Yeah. And, upselling is something that is absolutely critical. It's super easy, and you don't have to be the best salesperson, right? It's just asking the right questions. You see stuff that other people don't see, right? Everywhere I go, all I see is dirty stuff, right? I see dirty stuff. Every time I go to somebody's house, I'm looking up, I'm like, damn, customer here. And that's the mentality that you have to have. Everybody is a customer. Everybody has the potential to be a customer, and they can only be a customer if you ask them to be a customer. So something to think about there. You can start it as just an additional service to what you're currently offering. And maybe that's the best thing to do, right? If you're just doing house washes, maybe get a water-fed pole, start doing exterior window cleaning, look into a soft wash pump and start doing roof cleaning, right? Maybe during slower times when you probably wouldn't want to focus on something like deck restoration and staining. That's something that you want to think about because, it's fall, things aren't as mildewy and moldy, and, the focus isn't really on that, but people are still outside. They still want to enjoy things. So, amp up your marketing towards the end of the summer. If there's something that you want to focus on that can benefit you, like Christmas lighting and things of that nature. So I really think it's important to not have a broke mindset, a poor person's mindset, and just think that you have to either be employed by one person or you can only do one thing. Because if that's the mindset you have, you're going to be just small-minded and you're never really going to accomplish what I think most people want to accomplish. And that is to have financial independence. And that is to have the ability not to worry about the next day, the next bill, right? That's not a good feeling.
So just whatever place that you guys are in, just know that you put yourself there and what is it? I think Einstein said trying to solve a problem with the same thinking created it. Like, we'll never solve it, right? Like, you need to go take action, move in a direction, and build momentum in that direction. And then over time, you're going to start thinking differently, and you're going to start coming up with ideas, and you're going to become more resourceful. But the biggest thing here is action. Find a direction and move in it, instead of, like, a lot of people just overthink and just don't do. And essentially, that's what you need to do.
Yeah, it's paralysis by analysis. When you overthink, you become just, and it's that negativity, right? It's that, oh, woe is me, poor me, everything's expensive, I don't have enough money, inflation, recession, my boss, whatever the case is. Like, yeah, life sucks. Life is not fair, right? But it is what you make it. And nothing is too expensive if it brings in business. I've heard dozens and dozens and dozens of guys that have implemented Justin's Facebook ad strategy that have said, like, yeah, I used to put in like $3 a day and it never generated any money. No, and it's not going to. And then they say, then I listen to Justin and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start at $25 a day, and I'm going to do that consistently, and I'm going to see what happens. And guess what happens? You start generating leads. You have to trust in yourself. You have to invest in yourself. You have to invest in your business, because if you don't, nobody else is. And if you don't invest in yourself and you don't trust in yourself, if you don't think that investing in yourself is a good idea, then pack your shit up and go work somewhere else. Go work for somebody for, whatever wage they're willing to give you, or bust your ass, get out there, stop feeling sorry for yourself, do what needs to be done. And basically you can pave your own future, right? The most wealthy people, they didn't sit back and complain. They did something about it, right? And it wasn't they were lucky. It wasn't that they got handed something to them on a silver platter. It's because they worked for it. They went after it. They did the things that they needed to do in order to become successful. And that's what you need to do.